look, the good news is we only need 5 minutes for integration.
Nice.
We seem to be live. Testing, testing. Well, look, the good news is we only need 5 minutes for integration.
Nice. Seems like it.
Great. So
Share a link to that on the Facebook group.
we seem to be live.
Need it?
This link right here.
Mhm.
Is there anyone other than Tommy that's showing the interest?
No.
So I think the main dashboard for people accessing our lives isn't going to be links that we share ahead of time. It's going to be through the calendar. So we would just create a couple minutes before the thing, put the link in the calendar, and they would self-service through the location of the calendar event. All right. I think we should get started.
Yep, I agree.
All right. So from a protocol standpoint, you, Benjamin, are stewarding YouTube. Is that easy for you to steward that environment?
Yeah, I was just having some technical
You can just click the link.
difficulties, but I will be on the
You'll be on
YouTube chat.
And then I'm going to end this thing in the Zoom environment, right?
Yeah.
Press end meeting, and that should be that. Okay, great. Check. Okay. I'd like to open up our meeting.
Great.
The purpose of this meeting is to discuss a relatively omni-relevant video bumper, which I'm proposing to be an animation. Benjamin and I have had a previous conversation on it where we kind of looked a little bit about the difference between something that was more B-roll-ish and something that was more like animation. And we left that meeting with a decent alignment, coherence on a shared vision. And what I would love to do is create definitive alignment on what the 1.0 bumper wants to be so that it can move into development after this meeting.
And what is this used for?
All One Nation Party video content.
So the
So this
high-level overview is illustrating visually the political rise and doing so in the context of the symbolism of the One Nation logo. Christopher's already outlined what we
Storyboarded a bit.
storyboarded frame by frame. Nice. Starts at a single point.
But just,
Yeah.
I feel like we're diving, I want to give a little bit more context to
Yeah.
this. So this is for evergreen videos that we produce as solid produced pieces of content, which we're calling our songs, as opposed to any live stream, any one show, whatever. This is actually like our core distilled pieces that will live on our site and also be circulated as social media content that are designed to be relevant over an extended period of time, that basically achieve the objective of our 5-prong membership program, which is a content-driven program, which helps people to identify with and as One Nation, to connect with other people within One Nation, to be energized and inspired and encouraged, and at an energetic level, we change prepare to educate.
Yeah.
To be fully educated and trained, and then to be called into action as a creator. So basically everything from our previous membership programs gets recontextualized by these 5 tiers, and then we create a roadmap of 30 or 40 videos like this that click into one of those 5 different domains, and then we start creating them, and this is the skin designed to wrap around them all. One of the things I want to call out before we get into this is that our vision is that people might watch 3 or 4 in a row, and so we want the bumper to be as light that it doesn't get burdensome to like watch the same bumper. So if you watch 3 or 4 videos that were each 1 minute in a row, it has to be like easy.
We're talking about like 3 to 5 seconds.
You're in. Yep. Great. Do you want to jump into the actual?
Well, before getting into exactly where we ended up, the process that we went through is how do we use visual imagery to articulate how the left and right are actually, or any perceived opposition, actually emanate from the same place. They're actually connected. They create each other. They're not actually separate, but they use the separateness to achieve some sort of outcome.
Basically game A.
Game A, using divide and conquer as a strategy to dominate. And then start to see how the political rise actually involves like taking a new dimension. There's like literally rising above the context of win-lose into a new domain and space, and articulating that One Nation is the first of many organizations that will be occupying that new space. It's all about integration and coming back together as a single human family. And then that includes everyone. And so the way that I initially visualized it was actually like doing similar to like the intro to the launch video, like almost like a split screen, like back to back, like rapidly cutting between all of the different divisions of human history, all of the times where people have been pitted against each other, and then start to show characters who actually transcended that, and like start flashing all of those images and then pop into the logo. Christopher's vision was actually much more symbolic and visually simple,
Animation based,
and uses animation to show how both sides emanate from the central point. So imagine 2 lines coming out of that point on the bottom of the first frame. They go as far apart as they ever go, and then the line comes across to show the left and the right, and the line in the middle
spectrum. And this bottom triangle now I think probably has some light language that says game A. It's the whole thing propping up this, where this political spectrum is basically the top of the triangle.
It's interesting. I'm just now seeing how the inverted triangle is actually used in revolutionary movements to indicate like the ownership of the people, removing the 1%, yada yada. So that's one interpretation we hadn't fully considered.
Then this doesn't necessarily have to be a triangle. Like it's more designed to kind of be like maybe like energy, or like light, or just like it's that which is kind of like opened up and is holding and just showing the shared point of origin for everything that we consider to be these like 2 different perspectives.
And then out from the left-right divide, we show the political rise existing in the space above. And then as the unifying circle begins to come down, the bottom triangle and the left-right division disappears, and the One Nation logo is formed. And the tagline is the political rise for civilization redesign. Cool.
I think we can do that in a couple seconds. And what we get by that is we establish, I'm actually serious about the idea of game A and game B being represented as words in the process. So I think we could get identification with game A, game B. We get the establishment of the notion of the political rise. We get us as the kind of crystallization of the representation of this new political domain. And then we get a land civilization redesign as a concept. And to me, those are the most important, powerful concepts to be inculcating people over and over and over again with every video that they watch. Like they'll get it. So
I'd like to go simpler
mm-hmm.
and really trust that, like, you know, Coca-Cola's icon doesn't need to explain to you that it's Coca-Cola. Like, there's something about the power of a really simple and well-articulated sigil that contains within it, like, it works at a subconscious level. You don't need to explicitly tell people.
Starbucks had Starbucks written over the woman for 20 years.
Yeah.
Until there was sufficient brand recognition that they could drop the name and just be able to use the woman. So please don't underestimate like starting something from scratch.
I'm not talking about dropping One Nation.
No, I understand.
I'm just saying, do we need to say game A, game B, left, right, political rise, and One Nation?
I don't think your example is a good example to make a counterpoint. Literally, the purpose of this bumper isn't to just brand it. The purpose of this bumper is actually to establish the political rise. Mm-hmm. That's the purpose. So yes, I absolutely feel like you can't establish the political rise in a simpler way than this.
How are you thinking about defining the left and the right?
You're just showing it. You're just showing. There's different ways to do it. The simplest way, we literally write political right, political left, and then in this line, write political rise.
I'd say that's too much text for how short it needs to be.
Yeah. Then you could
say colors would be good too.
The right, yeah. You just have like the right, like this would kind of fill up with red and say right and white, and this would fill up with blue and say left and right. People get that.
Yeah, that's better.
And then this would, maybe fill up in a color like teal or white or black.
I'm thinking white, probably.
I think those are all fair game. And then, we're achieving a tremendous amount of conceptual establishment. Like the notion of the political rise is so profoundly innovative that nobody, except for people in this house, have a shelf on their brain for that notion to even land on. So, but when we take the spectrum and now turn it into a shape that now has surface area and not just length, you're doing the work for a person to create the space in their brain for this to live on. And if these two things are colors with this territory, and now the right is this like trapezoid and the left is this trapezoid and the rise is this triangle, and you have three different colors, then I think in a second people will start to be able to get it. And then as he was saying that as the circle is basically kind of just coming in, and then this is falling out, and then this is kind of falling out, and then you're just left with this triangle right here, and it's the party of the political rise.
I imagined all of the lines on the internal of the upper triangle fading out as the circle comes in. So you get the full, it's like transcending and including left and right.
Yeah, so that's a contender. However, I think that the political right will continue to exist and the political left will continue to exist, and this will be the third domain.
Mm-hmm.
So people can leave the political right, and that's what I was talking about, like this notion of like the right and the left crumbling and kind of like they're being abducted by an alien. They're like crumbled and like assimilated upwards. So to me, I would represent the transcend and include by the right and the left, the words being assimilated upwards rather than the circle land there, and it lands in what we call the political rise, because this is the party of the political rise. thoughts?
I feel aligned enough to try it out.
Great. Yeah, that's all that's we're headed towards, I think.
The reason that I wanted to have Jonas here is because I wanted to talk about the outro of the bumper. Because I do think that has more video imagery, B-roll.
Again, yeah, just anyways, please continue.
It's still only like no more than 10 seconds.
I'm really thinking of 1 minute videos though. So I'm thinking like we're talking about more like a 2 to 3 second.
And they literally can just flash on the screen for a second at a time.
Yeah. Share.
Become a member.
Yeah. I really love this notion, and I think you guys want to push back on the wording a little bit, but it's like register for the political rise. So to me, I think the political rise is going to be more engaging than One Nation. I think we're inviting people to register. Like that's what I'm really feeling called to. Or enlist in the political rise. That's kind of cool. Because yeah, anyways.
An example that I just watched for a bumper.
But if we say enlist in the political rise, that doesn't connect people to membership registration. Yeah.
And then,
yeah. So if we just add a fourth frame, and we're still, I thought you were talking about like B-roll and imagery or other things. I wasn't sure. But if we say enlist in the political rise, share, become a member, together we rise, just like so. Feel
they're too similar. Enlist in the political rise.
well, that's like this like meta kind of.
Yeah, but it's like telling them to take a direct action in something that's totally vague. The way that they enlist is by becoming a member. Join the political rise, become a member. Share this video, join the political rise, become a member.
Join the political rise, share this video, become a member, together we rise. I like, then it puts together we rise in the bookends of it.
Yeah.
Because it's so.
And I had in my notes, share your genius with hashtag together we rise underneath. So we're starting to like build together we rise as a hashtag so that when people are like in their act of rising, they feel like spontaneously inspired to tag it. Like whenever they do a random act of kindness or whenever they like show up in leadership to support their community. Like I want to figure out a way to make together we rise go viral.
So then let's just say that this end screen says together your eyes with that underneath them. So you're just connecting them. And now that's like the meta-ist way to start the conversation of the hashtag. And then how it actually gets used or how we use it or how people want to use it, like there's space for that to become what it wants to be. Yeah. Are you more inspired by creating this or having Jonas create it?
I have no skills to create animation, period.
Got it.
I have moderate skills.
Okay. Great. So then this is a moment. Let's just hear from Jonas. What do you think about this? Are you a yes for him to start investing some energy and resource to create an iteration of this?
Yeah. Well, wouldn't that be? If we
Well, aesthetically, you've done a great job of
I think there's a
branding
lot.
the other video
I think
content.
there's a lot going on. And yeah, once we get going, I think we'll find ways to simplify it without without having to make any, or with it still being clear.
Yeah, so if we were gonna drop some chunks, it would be this whole bottom part.
Yeah, that's the thing. that's a
So
little
the
confusing.
original vision that I always had was just
Like,
that the
it-
line would come out,
Yeah, that's
right and left would be
that
established.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
If there was a line going out, that then we started illuminating the colors,
Yeah, so you get like the left, yeah,
and then it could be that instead of trying to do too much with the bottoms, the top triangle would actually rise by itself
uh-huh,
into a circle. You know?
yeah, so that it kind of has lift off a little bit.
Yeah. So it has a lift off.
So you get the rise, the rise is rising,
Yeah, the rise is rising.
the rise is on the rise.
And then however we want to do it, if we want to bring some sort of element of a sun or something that like it rises into, and then
Yeah.
bright, and then the logo comes out of it.
Great. That
That's
was kind of where we got to. I didn't represent that in this actually, was that as the circle's coming in, it's also like, it's not coming straight in, it's actually kind of coming in the center and then rising. So like, but we didn't think about the triangle rising, but if the triangle gets lift off and then the circle is kind of like coming to catch up, like everything's just rising. So maybe they're both rising, but the circle is just rising a little bit faster to catch up with the triangle. It's just like,
yeah, being like a
and when it clicks in, there's this big like illumination kind of flash.
yeah. And then the logo comes like, it'd be cool if the circle would be some sort of element of, like I said, like a sun or some sort of light beam or something, where the triangle just kind of disappears into it with the flash, and then
Totally.
the
I'm completely seeing the same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
And that seems more simple, and
So to summarize,
the flash could be that teal with the white logo coming out of it.
when you were saying simplify, are you saying what were you saying to remove?
Well, I don't see any text about game A or game B yet in this version. It could work, but I don't see it right now.
yeah, I think
I
that
see
we're
that.
both seeing this whole notion, this bottom part omitted.
Yeah.
So the point starts at the center of the line.
Mhm.
Basically, the first frame would just basically be like, kind of like the point, and the next frame, that point starts expanding both ways, and the right and the left are established.
Yeah, and I think what would be cool, audio sound wise, is that when that line comes out and we start realizing it's talking about the left and the right, we have these sounds of war and fake news and things like that, kind of muffled, like that, like negative energy of whatever, all the things that's brought about.
Oh,
And then they kind of get just like, they just fade away, they fade down.
yeah, it's like kind of golden, like. Like that. I don't know how that would work out audio wise in just a matter of moments, but
It's kind of like that, yeah, like the sound of Dolby Digital starting up.
What does that sound?
and then just now to work in a couple more details, and I think we're winding down because you're ready to go. Is I would say that with this kind of vision here,
Mhm.
the right and the left are established on the spectrum before there's any surface area to them. So they're just basically like labeling this part of the line. But then as the triangle starts to come up, then they actually fill in with blue and red respectively. So now you're actually realizing, oh, this isn't like a line, this is a space. It's a domain, it's a territory. Not a line, it's a territory. And then that creates this space, and that kind of has a moment because now you get curious. If that's a territory and that's a territory, then what's this gonna be? And then political rise or the rise then lands in that space. And if these are both white, then this color can come in as red and this color can come in as blue, and that will look great because the white will look great on black and the white will also look great on blue or red. Are you inspired? Are you excited?
Yeah, I have some more questions that'll kind of come on the wash around how to do. I want to experiment with gradients, and a lot of it will be determined by my technical capabilities. I know that this should probably be done in After Effects, which is a much more complex piece of software. You can do some really simple animation stuff in Photoshop, which is the domain that I feel most comfortable in. But it kind of isn't designed for that specifically. So I'm gonna work around it and see what we can do.
Okay. What's your vision on how many hours to get a prototype?
Probably about 10, 5 to 10, somewhere in there. Work on it over the weekend. I think I'd like to experiment. I feel like your title design, the reason I wanted to bring you in for the last part is because I know visually the titles
You're cooler than
the two of us. For the share become a number, like
Nice.
even if it's just a line coming across with like the nice fade in of
Yeah, I was just trying to pull up the Daily Show.
Do you have a hard 4 o'clock?
and
I do.
example.
Okay, so we haven't integrated yet, so we
Yeah.
should stop this so we can integrate.
Yeah.
According to our commitments. Sounds like you can work with him offline.
Yeah.
Great. So in our last couple minutes, we just want to integrate how this conversation went, how we showed up in this conversation relative to the Transparency Initiative, and watching now or later.
I feel like my energy was pretty low.
Yeah.
And not really energized, passionately engaged, oscillating between feeling victimized and not. I feel like I could have brought myself forward more powerfully.
Yeah, I think that the energy really shifted the moment you were bringing up the sigil conversation and Coca-Cola, and I judged it to be an inappropriate example, and I feel like I kind of attacked you. And I feel like ever since then, there probably wasn't a great sense of safety. But I probably threw safety under the bus in that moment. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel a little similar, not my highest. But creatively, even though I didn't speak much, I started visually really seeing and feeling it. My honest opinion and kind of thought, like kind of a thought process through the whole thing was like, okay, this is something, if we had the right talent to do this, which I feel like neither of us really are
Yeah.
what we need for this, this is this could be really amazing. That's why, especially because of that, I wanted to make sure that we simplify and don't try to do too much in the beginning. Because then it would just look easily messy and hectic and
Take more time for something that's not a core competence.
yeah. So like starting with the core pieces. I'm getting off track a little bit, but yeah, I feel like this is something that we should keep it simple and in terms of my presence, yeah, that's I've been feeling a little off in my head a lot today, and I want to keep rising and keep. I realize that my strength comes out the best when I'm able to help others in whatever way. So yeah, I'm here to serve and keep reminding myself of that so I get out of my head about what I'm supposed to be thinking or feeling or whatever. So yeah.
Anyone watching this now or after the fact, that was our One Nation animation bumper brainstorm combo with our media team. And now
Over and out.
this.